Whoa, that intro was really cool, wasn't it? What's up guys, Axpe here, and in this new video, as you may already understood from the intro and from the title as well, we'll be talking about the new iPhone 12. But before we start, I have to say that this is not gonna be a review because the phone came out almost a month ago, so there are lots of video reviews out there. So if you wanna go and watch any other review, just close this video and watch whatever you want. Before starting this video, I want to go back in time of 10 years, back in 2010 when this guy, the iPhone 4, was released. At that time I didn't have any smartphone or any Apple product at all, but I remember me falling in love with this smartphone. What really caught my eyes was the design. It was one of the first phones with this premium material, with an aluminum frame, a glass back, and it was really cool to see back in the days. The next year I finally bought my first Android smartphone, and from there 9 years passed and I changed smartphone every 2 years. So after 9 years with Android, I finally decided to switch to iPhone. And this little guy right here, trust me, it's a freaking monster. The reason why I switched to iPhone this year, it wasn't because I was having problem with Android. Actually, my OnePlus 6T that I had until now works really well, and it's still fast and still reliable. Actually, 1 week before I bought my iPhone, I received a system update. So after 2 years, that's really cool. The reason why I switched to iPhone was because I wanted to change. I always had this thing in mind to switch to an iPhone, but that moment never really came until now. But this year, Apple announced iOS 14, and with it they finally introduced, after a long time, the widgets on the various screens. The widgets are one of the things that I love most of Android. They are useful and they comes handy a lot of time. I didn't really want to get rid of the widgets because those are probably the best thing that Android has. And finally Apple introduced it with iOS 14. They don't work seamlessly like the Android widgets. I hope that developers will start working on them. And then the second reason was that Apple made this throwback design. A lot of people criticize Apple this year because they recycled an old design, but I actually really love this squarish design of the iPhone 12 because it resembled the same design of the iPhone 4. Well, actually it resembled more the iPhone 5 because of the aluminum back, but yeah, you got the point. I wanna bust a myth out. There are a lot of people that says that iPhone is faster, iPhone is reliable than any other phone in the world. That is actually not true. And never ever believe this person. iPhone is fast, as you can expect from a phone that costs over $1,000. But you can never ever say that something is better than something else. I've been using Android phones for 9 years now, and I never had a single problem with my smartphones. They've always been fast, they've always been reliable, and never had a bug, a crash, a lag, nothing like that. Absolutely nothing at all. Maybe because the phones that I had were expensive, maybe they were flagship killers. You can never say that the iPhone is faster and more reliable than any other Android phone. That's not true, so never believe those person. Well, if you're wondering how the switch process went, it actually didn't go this bad. I mean, of course, before buying the iPhone I was a little bit scared because let's say that iOS is a complete different operating system than Android. Fun fact, it took me something like 5 minutes to change the ringtone to a customized one, while on Android I would have done it probably in less than a minute. We know that iOS is a closed system, so some things that you easily do on Android here becomes more tricky, or you can actually do it, like for example navigating on the file system. Even though there is an app now that Apple made called Files that lets you create new folders, rename them, copy and move files from one folder to another, you can actually access the file system. When you switch to iPhone, you have to keep in mind that you are approaching to a completely new experience. Because yes, iPhone is an experience. It's not like any other Android phone, but it's different. And if you don't try it with your own hands, you actually don't understand it. One of the things that I love that Apple introduced, I think with the iPhone 10, is the haptic feedback. Basically, imagine that you got an animation going on your screen of something bouncing on your screen. Well, the time that this animation bounce on your screen, this motor vibrate, this haptic feedback start to vibrate and give you an actual feedback of the action. This thing really blew my mind. It's not something that you can set, it's not something that you can decide to. Some apps do it, some apps don't. I actually noticed that YouTube use a lot the haptic feedback feature. But trust me, this makes your phone feel so alive. And it's of course a useless thing. You don't really need the haptic feedback on your phone to, to do all the things that you actually do with your phone. You have to try it, guys. You just have to try it. Let's talk about the design. That is one of the reasons why I bought the iPhone this year. Because don't get me wrong, I always love the iPhone design. I really love the iPhone 11 design with the midnight green color. But this time Apple finally gave us that throwback feel, that throwback squarish design that we all loved on iPhone 4 and iPhone 5. A lot of people criticize this design, but actually I love it because it's wonderful. And it's not only beautiful to see, but it's also useful. The squarish border makes the phone more grippy, so you can hold it perfectly on your hand. The back cover is not so slippery as you may imagine. It actually gives you a lot of grip behind, so I've been using it for 2 weeks now without any kind of cover, and it never slipped off my hand. Another thing that people point the fingers to is the notch. A lot of people criticize Apple because they are still using this big notch on top of the screen that covers a big portion of the screen. Actually, I never really notice it when I use it, and it doesn't really bother me. Even if I'm watching a YouTube video on full screen, it doesn't bother me. Maybe because I'm coming from a smartphone that already had a notch, even though it was a droplet style notch. So it was way smaller than that. Was the switch from Android to iPhone immediate? Well, it actually wasn't. It was easy, but it could have been tricky for some person. One problem, if we want to call it problem, that I had with this phone was to import my contacts from Android. So it took me a couple of minutes to sort this problem out. I just have to take my computer, go on my Google account, download a vCard file compatible with the iPhone, then going on iCloud, always using my computer, and import that vCard file that I exported before, and boom, my contacts were there. So as I said, it's not so hard, it's actually an easy procedure. If you're really not into technology, like I am, if you are not a problem solver, maybe this thing can be tricky for you. After the first couple of hours with iPhone, I already felt like I've been using it for years, and now, as I said before, I spent 2 weeks with it, and it feels like I've been using it forever. I've been doing more things with this phone in 2 weeks than I have done with my previous phone in 9 years. The other day I actually edited an entire 4K video long about 2 minutes with the phone. Yes, you heard it right, a 4K video with my iPhone. Of course, the purpose of this video is not to recommend the iPhone, because I still love Androids, I will still look for Android phones, I will still follow the conferences, the presentation of any Android phones, because I love them. But what I just want to say is that iPhone is different, so approach it in a different way that you approach your Android phone. So I hope that no one of you will flame about which one is better between Android or iPhone in the comment section down below. So don't do it, because that's useless. So will I recommend the iPhone to anyone over Android? No, I will never recommend iPhone over Android, and I will never recommend Android over iPhone, because as I said before, these are useless comments to make. If you're good with Android, if you don't feel the need to switch to an iPhone, just stick with Android phone. At the same time, if you feel good with your iPhone, never switch to Android, unless you really want to. Okay, we are finally at the conclusion of this video, so before you leave, I want to remind you to leave a thumbs up if you like the video, click on the notification bell if you want to stay updated with all the videos that I upload, and I recommend you to do it because I got a cool video coming out soon with a lot of cool gadgets. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you want to support me. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you are an Android user, if you want to switch to iPhone, if you already have iPhone and maybe for some reason want to switch to Android, just let me know so we can just talk on the comment section. For this video is everything. I'll catch you in the next one.